Hello and welcome everyone to the second episode, only the second episode of Nothing But Stuff. I am your co-host here, Lewis, and I'm here with my other co-host.
Oh, it's Isaac Harwood. You know, I have a surname, unlike you.
No, don't need one. I'm Cher. I'm Rihanna. I am, I'm an entity.
Uh-huh.
I don't need the last name.
Just
Not my vibe.
pending that fame at the moment.
Exactly.
That's a good way to live your life, actually. Pending
Always
fame.
in anticipation
Yeah.
of rampant success from nowhere.
How are the masses going to take this? Yeah, okay.
They'll love it. They'll love it. It's just me, Cher, Rihanna, Bono. We're all up there.
Yeah, is that your little private club? That's fine. Yeah, all right. So it's been a little while since the last recording. Should we just dive straight in?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is Nothing But Stuff. If you listen to the first episode, you should get a vibe for what we're doing. But
Yeah.
we do a little bit of comic book movie. No, well, not really comic book movies. Movies, books, games, that sort of vibe. We talk about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we got role-playing games on the go, stupid stuff that my kid does. There's a whole bunch of... There's nothing but stuff here, actually. I come to think of it. Yeah.
Almost exclusively Nothing But Stuff.
And again, probably pretty weird for someone to come into the second episode without listening to the first one, but yeah, they probably got a gist of it by now. So
Probably.
To kick us off then, just what you've been up to recently. Your most recent stuff, I understand you might have read a book or two. You've been on your honeymoon.
I've never read a book in my life. No, of course.
It's going to be a good podcast then.
Yeah, the books thing was really just me trying to, big up my reputation, but I can't actually read. No, I have been reading the latest induction into the Thrawn series in the Star Wars canon.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Timothy Zahn, fantastic author.
Are they all written by him?
All of the Thrawn stuff, pre and post Legends canon, all that stuff, he has written it all.
Fair enough.
And genuinely a fantastic writer. Gonna be looking into more of his stuff. But, yeah, so you've got the first 3 books that he wrote in the canon. They're based in the Empire.
I read the first one and enjoyed that one a lot, but never got on to the second.
Genuinely, that is probably the peak. I still think that that's my favourite because it's just about like how he like gets in and he's just this tactical mastermind and all this sort of stuff. And it's quite good because in the canon, everyone's always saying afterwards, oh my god, what if he was at Endor? What if he was at Endor? Then those bloody rebels wouldn't have destroyed that Death Star, or Death Star 2, I should say. So yeah, he's bigged up in the universe a lot, but yeah, he's fantastic.
He's kind of like he's kind of like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes a little bit in the Star Wars universe, like that deduction, that kind of getting out of every situation by doing something clever. And you know what? That trope always works. So.
Yeah, it does. And the really interesting element that they bring in with him in both canon and Legends is that what he does is he studies a culture and an individual's art.
Yeah,
so he's
I
just like, so he's always like picking on a culture. He knows what their tactics are going to be and all this sort of thing. And it's all derived from basically what he sees when he's going through their art, especially in individuals. And it's a really interesting aspect.
That's
but
cool.
Yeah, as I was saying, the first trilogy is all based in the Empire, and the second one is like a prequel. So he goes back, and it's all about how he rose, because he's a part of a race called the Chiss, and it's all about how he rose up from being like just joining their navy, their space navy. Space Navy? I suppose
Space Navy. Do they call it a Space Navy themselves?
No, they call it something like the Expansionary Defense Force, and it's just like, those are two very separate things. Because they also have a
defense.
They have a defense force and an expansionary defense force.
No, we're still defending. We're still defending.
We're going to take your world and then defend it. So, yeah, and I'm on the third one, and I think that's going to be the sort of culmination of obviously of a trilogy, being the third one. But reading through that at the moment, and it kicks off right at the start of the end of the second one, and so far it's being a very entertaining read. Timothy Zahn, as I said, great author. I will definitely be looking into more of his work soon enough. But so what have you been doing with your recent stuff then, Mr. Harwood?
My recent stuff, I mean, I don't know if I want to talk about a book again like you did. I guess I've rekindled my interest in writing an RPG. So that's kind of been on my mind a lot recently. I'm thinking of
writing an RPG or writing and RPG?
No, writing an RPG, creating an RPG.
Nice.
Well, I've got like 6 or 7 years of experience with RPGs and kind of feel like I could probably put something out there which would be worthwhile. So I'm thinking of like this kind of, I mean, it's easy to say that it's been done before, like a book like Scum and Villainy, but it's like
Isn't
a
that
sci-fi.
a Star Wars RPG?
No, it's, Blades in the Dark, the one that we played.
Yeah, I know that.
It's exactly.
But Scum and Villainy is a Star Wars reference.
Yes,
you'll never find a more wretched hive of Scum and Villainy.
That's probably where they've got it from, but yeah, it's Blades in the Dark in space. Nice. But I kind of wanted to go on that kind of vibe of putting like an alien crew together and having your own spaceship that's like yours, and you kind of upgrade it as you go, and
nice.
doing like kind of one-off missions with like an overall arc, a bit like Monster of the Week. But I'm just kind of doing like admin bits. I started writing it 2.5 years ago. When my first kid was born, I just, up at 3 a.m. just writing on my phone, like at a bunch of classes and stuff. So yeah, I thought it was apt now that baby 2's coming along, and that'll be what I'd be doing at 3 a.m. watching horror movies with my infant child, who doesn't get it yet. Hopefully she's not scarred for life.
It never did anything wrong for you when your dad was playing you Alien when you were 8, but I suppose it's a bit different when she's 2.
I got over the nightmares after like 20 years. It's fine. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just like get my creative juices flowing.
Very nice.
So that's my recent stuff. Yeah, pretty exciting times, and you just need a new revenue stream because this podcast is just a failure already. So that's all it is, His face right now, we've got him on video at the moment. It's a good one. Why are we here?
I'm only here for the money. I just want you to know that this is not so. Two friends can just sit down and have a giggle. I'm in this for the dollar bills, baby.
Yeah,
I say that. I mean the sterling bills, baby. If you hadn't guessed, we are British.
It's so you can fit in better with Cher and Bono back at your club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to have something to talk about at the country club with them. When my lucrative music career takes off, I hope you never have to hear me sing. It is a beautiful moment.
We did it during sound check, and it wasn't great. Moving on swiftly, I think it's time to get on to our first segment, don't you think?
Well, our second segment.
I guess you're right. Recent stuff is stuff, and this is nothing but stuff. So I guess fight stuff will be the next one. What's the general overview of fight stuff, Lewis?
Fight stuff. This is always a giggle. So we have a random generator that we've put together, filled with pop culture characters, a few real life characters dotted in there, followed by locations and weapons, I believe. Mm-hmm. So we press the generator, we each get given a character, we each get given a weapon, and there's a location. Your character will have all of their usual powers, all of their usual gear. So if you're Captain America, you've got your shield always. If you're, let's say, Freddy Krueger, you got your little knife hands, you got your little knifey hands. But you also get given an item which has to be used. It might not necessarily be a weapon. Last recording, one of the items was a fucking rock. So
yep. And it was used well.
Yes, I greatly enjoyed that.
Was that our Professor X versus Pikachu
Yes.
fight. Yeah, that went well.
In a treehouse.
Like, how do you not just immediately obliterate Pikachu with Professor
Yeah,
X?
I was really struggling on how Pikachu was going to get through that. Because I was Professor X, and I was just like, he'd just melt his mind.
Well, I've got our next lineup right here, and it's funny you already mentioned one of them, and I swear legit this is random, and I clicked it before you mentioned it. But Lewis, the character that you will be in.
Oh, I'm excited.
Possessing today, inhibiting. I don't know what you call it.
Role playing.
Okay, I got there in the end. All right, 7 years or something. I just said Captain America.
Oh,
with a sack of dead animals.
A sack of dead animals. Any
with a sack of
specified
dead
type of animal?
I think that can come out organically in the game. I mean, be dripping out organically. Versus T-1000. That's everyone's favourite melty Terminator, the liquid metal one, with a social studies degree. That's what he's armed with today. And we're fighting on the surface of Mars.
That's the point, though. Does Captain America have breathing apparatus there? I don't think he does.
Well, I think he can just hold his breath for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he is a super soldier. I imagine he's got super lungs. But
yeah. He's got limited time that he can have this fight.
I mean, I've got to say, though, as well, a social studies degree against any person coming up on that list. Captain America is the one that you could probably talk down with.
Well, now I've got to somehow weave in a social studies degree into my RP. Because we should be said that we can't win without using the designated weapons.
Oh, no, absolutely. So are we rolling for who goes first?
Shit, yeah, I forgot my dice. I should go and get my dice.
Well, just gonna... That's the sound of a full, heavy, laden sack of dice there. I must find a D6. There is a D6. There we go.
Let's see. I've got my number, baby. I think I went first last time.
It fell on the floor, but I've got a 5.
I got a 6.
Ah!
Yeah. Well, it's actually...
Why did you wait for me to roll?
It's actually a turtle, but I'm pretty sure that resembles a 6. So there's a 1 on there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right. So
let me just pop my dice into my sack.
That's good. Okay, so T-1000 with a social studies degree on the surface of Mars. What the hell is he doing up there? Maybe he was sent to kill...
Are we explaining why they're in the location? Last time it was just... Okay, yeah.
Last time they were just in a treehouse. Yeah, okay. T-1000 is up here visiting a loved one. And Captain America is I guess you can decide.
That's my business.
Why?
It's my business.
Well, T-1000 is up here visiting Granny Skynet. And how does Captain America interrupt this?
Well, I believe Captain America has travelled there because Red Skull has gone to the Red Planet, just throwing in 2 words which are the exact same there. Perhaps he's got a Nazi Hydra base up there. Perhaps they're planning on... I don't fucking know. Doing something to the Earth.
Okay, so we're just meeting by chance.
Yes, like Captain America's like running in low G across the planet with what was my item?
A sack of dead animals.
A sack of dead animals. He tried to save them, but they all suffocated.
He forgot.
No, he couldn't. I mean, what's he going to do? He's having to hold his own air in his lungs. He couldn't save all the animals. He's got to save the whole planet.
So
but he's just like, I'll take these for a good burial later.
It was a sack of living animals, but it didn't go so well. And T-1000's just like, bye, Granny, as he walks out. Like, his voice can change, so he's just me now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, bye, Granny. Yeah, no, I've got a really good job down at the Social Studies Centre, because that's the thing that happens. There's loads of them on Mars. All right, see ya. Yeah, no, you keep the flowers. That's cool. And he turns around and sees Captain America charging with a sack of dead animals. Because his granny's house is in the same nursing home as Red Skull. So that's why. so that's why. But he sees Captain America, and it just reminds him of Shit, what's is it T-100? What's the normal Terminator? Or he's like a Series 100 or something, isn't he? Anyway, yeah, he's just reminded of Arnie.
T800? T800, isn't it? I've got to Google this now.
Yeah, I know, but we can't have a Google session in the middle of a podcast. But I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, I guess we're doing it then. Yeah, T800. T800 is the Terminator. And then in the next one, he's the T850.
Oh, shit. All right. Anyway, we're digressing. Okay. And so it's my turn first. I can only make bladed weapons, nothing too complicated.
So he's Arnie.
No, but that's what the line in the movie. And so yeah, sees Captain America charging at him. So he's just going to run in the opposite direction towards Captain America. I mean, with just a huge sword stretching out, and he's just going to take a big old swing at Captain America.
I'd say Captain America in this instance would be sliding onto his knees, trying to deflect the sword with his shield. I mean, that's what they're designed for. Mm-hmm. He's finally thinking, a worthy opponent!
And it clangs off the shield as you slide past me.
Exactly. And maybe trying to sweep the legs with the sack of dead animals at the same time.
Okay, yeah, sending him like tumbling into like the red dirt of the surface of Mars. You're still holding your breath, of course. During the whole thing. I think T-1000 is just going to like rumble around in the dirt, get himself back up, and he's going to, I think, give himself like a kind of husky sled legs, just like out of metal, and he's got like two like ski poles on his arms now as he's like propelling himself forward, like sliding along on like a toboggan, and he's just going to make a huge spike come out of his chest as he's charging Captain America. He's kind of a one-trick pony. He's got a lot of knives. that's kind of it. Knives.
Yeah, but he can make himself look like anything. So I don't know. But does he know who Captain America is? Of course not. Who knows why?
It's a little tidbit, but isn't it true that when they were filming Terminator 2, the actor who played T-1000 like kept catching up to the car when they were filming because he was just running too well, so they keep having to retake it.
I know he kept on. He specifically changed his running style to be very robotic because he runs. I mean, you can't see me, but my arms are pumping.
He did such a good job that they had to keep retaking it because he kept catching the car. Anyway, sliding towards you with a big spike. That's what I do a lot.
At this point, I reckon Cap is probably going to just go, it's a shame all these animals died, but he's going to take a peek into the sack.
Oh, good.
And just be like, okay, what have I got in here? And looking down, because we haven't specified the animals, he's going to say, oh, great, a python. Pulls out the dead python, sort of whips it around, and tries to bury the fangs into the neck of the T-1000. Not knowing that there's... I mean, he's obviously like, this guy, there's something up about this guy. Most people can't make swords and toboggans out of their legs. But, try and see if the Venom's going to do it.
He's got to be defending Red Skull, because that's the only reason such a superpowered creature would be up here.
I think he would imagine that at least. Yeah. He's a threat, and they know that they need to take each other out. I think that's a given.
So T-1000 just slices that python out of the air with his big old knife hand. And I think he's pretty disappointed at seeing what's inside the sack. Because he's like, well, I don't think that's very ethical. For one thing, why did you even bring the animals up to Mars?
I don't think he brought them. I think he found them.
He found them. Okay, so he just wants to bury them. But have you really thought about the meaning of a sack of dead animals, especially with snakes in there? Have you really thought about that?
I think that's... Oh, okay, that's what he said. I thought you were asking me.
No, he's
using that social studies degree.
Do you know what? I don't have one, so I don't know what they do. But that's what I'm going to talk about.
This is a very light interpretation on the social studies degree. But I imagine... But knowing Cap, he's going to be like, oh, this guy's actually talking. I mean, I'm imagining it's a vacuum. I'm imagining they can hear each other. They've got a little mic. I don't know how that's working.
No, it's just space fantasy. Let's get over it.
Sure. I reckon that's going to make Cap stop and think and just look down into the sack of dead animals and just be like, should I even be using these to my advantage? Is that the American way? Is that the American
Does he say
way?
that out loud?
As out loud as one can in a vacuum.
Good. So he's wasting his breath, and the plan is working.
Oh yes.
See what
I would say it is.
See what I did there.
And then, not tossing aside, but he would gently place aside
Just loving
the
it.
sack of dead animals,
Squelching to the sand.
and then has a moment of remorse. He looks down and then just gets angry and throws the shield at the T-1000.
Okay. Are you thinking it's going to go through or it's going to bounce off?
I have no idea.
I think it's. What if it gets stuck inside?
What if he just incorporates it into his chest?
Okay. Well, that goes well with my next idea because I just realised the ultimate form for T-1000, impenetrable momentum machine, just turns into a giant metal ball, just a sphere, Like, what are you going to do about it? You can't get any purchase. It's heavy as fuck, and it just rolls and just doesn't stop rolling. So he just turns into a big ball with the Captain America shield just kind of rotating with the spins, the revolutions of that ball, as it's just inevitably heading towards Captain America to crush him like a wrecking ball, as it were.
Yeah, I just think in that situation, what Cap's doing is he's sort of lying down on his back, waiting as the ball approaches, and then sort of like kicking it up into the air with all of his force and trying to just make it yeet right off the fucking planet.
Oh shit. Okay.
He's using that momentum against the T-1000. And there's no atmosphere to stop him.
No atmosphere and low gravity and Captain America's super strength.
Yeah.
I think you just won. It just goes into space. It's just like he's got no propulsion.
No.
He's just. I mean, he could turn back into whatever he wants. He's just.
I mean, there is a very thin atmosphere, so one could argue that he can make himself into a giant sail, but it's all depending on Captain America's strength.
So, side note: how great would Terminator 2 be if he was just a giant sphere the whole time?
With a big American star in the middle.
Just rolling around on down that sewer alley or whatever they call them in LA. Anyway, I think that's a victory again for you. That's 2-0.
I think last time though it was a given. I mean, Professor X versus Pikachu. That was just a raw deal.
Yeah, I mean that one could have been close, but it's also a bit of a slogfest. It's just punching versus stabbing. So not super interesting, but I think we got there. All right, well that's 2-0 to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So what's our next segment then, Isaac? After this one,
we usually go into movie stuff, and just
movie stuff.
I'll kick us off because I think I picked the movie.
You did.
So I'll just get the year up because I think that's important when we talk about movies. So we watched a little while ago. We actually watched it together with a headphone in. We watched a film called. Get ready. It's called Psycho Goreman.
Hilarious.
It's made in 2020. A horror sci-fi film, and just a brief overview. I don't know if people watched it a long time ago now, I guess.
That one guy who listened to our first episode. That one
guy who listens to the first episode of podcast. Anyway, we'll find them, I'm sure. Two very young, preteen, 12, 13-year-olds, brother and sister. They come across. We'll get into how they come across him, but in a minute. But they come across an ancient alien overlord who has been entombed on Earth, and whoever controls this McGulligan. What's it called? Is it Mulligan? McGulligan? That's the other thing immersioned. The Mulligan of his.
The Mulligan.
Is it the Mulligan? What's the thing which is like the story thing? You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. And they have another word
MacGuffin.
for it in... MacGuffin,
the
thank
MacGuffin,
you.
Fucking finally.
Yes.
Jeez, there's too many. Yeah, anyway. Mulligan's when you take another shot in golf, isn't it? The MacGuffin of this crystal orb, and whoever controls the crystal orb controls the ancient alien overlord. Guess who gets the crystal orb? Yes, it is an emotionally unstable teenage girl.
Preteen.
So preteen, sorry. Lewis, do you want to just take us through it bit by bit? How does this start, and how do they find the alien?
So, the specific name of the ball game is madness. But what's it called? I can't remember off the top of my head because we watched this like 3 weeks ago. This is a great review, by the way. Great stuff.
Yeah. I can't remember anything. Let's talk about this.
Yes. I did watch a preview video earlier on to remind me. But it's called... there's a ball game that they play, which is just absolute fucking mad.
Yeah, it's just a made-up, stupid... Crazy Ball, I think it's called.
Crazy Ball, yes.
Crazy Ball, yeah.
Crazy
stupid
Ball.
family kids game that they're playing.
Yeah, so it's a pretty... well, not even a standard opening, but it's a pretty interesting opening where they're just... These two kids basically lob a ball away from each other, and then... It's never really explained what the rules are or how it's played.
Don't need it.
But then the two balls hit each other in midair, and that means they have like a face-off. Mm-hmm. And the little girl wins the face-off.
And just punches him in the face, right?
Well, no, she gets to like lob the ball at him.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. And then he loses, obviously, so his forfeit for losing is having to dig his own grave
and be buried alive.
Buried alive.
Yeah. Which is insane. So it cuts to again preteen children who have dug like a 6 foot by 3 foot by 6 foot hole in the garden in like 2 hours. That would take like 2 full-grown men like a day, or women. Lewis, come on.
Or women.
So that's for one thing just amazing. So I remember we were quite stunned at the size of the hole that they dug in the afternoon, or not they, just the boy on his own. And then guess what? They clunk. Ooh, what's that? And they come across like a red glowy crystal.
It's actually a pinky purple.
It's a pinky purple crystal, and the teenage girl, the preteen girl. Called Mimi, I believe, grabs the crystal. Doesn't really know what it does, but in some distant place off screen. Is it off screen? But Psycho Goreman gets like summoned, right?
No, I think that has entombed him under the ground.
Right. He is there in that grave.
He's there, and that's like almost the locking pin, but it also controls him.
She presses like some random ass buttons and unlocks it, and later they're like. Council of aliens are talking about it, and they're like, but how did they get past the cipher? And it's just like this kid like randomly pressing buttons like
with the most hilarious polystyrene costumes that you've ever seen. Quite good, but also so cheap.
Yeah. So they go to bed, and in the night I think Psycho Goreman wakes up. Yeah. He's not actually called Psycho Goreman yet. We'll get to that later. And he goes to like a warehouse or something, and just... This is where the horror bit comes in. He just fucking like obliterates a bunch of like I guess you'd call them bandits, which is like wrong'uns hanging out in the
ne'er-do-wells.
And doesn't he put someone in like permanent nightmare stasis?
And he's just sort of like sitting there with his eyes rolling back, his face is half melted.
Not just rolling back, but like rolling constantly back, like over and over and over. Not just rolled into whites, but like you see his pupils come back like a rolling T1000, we'll say. You know, that common phrase. So he like properly eviscerates a bunch of randoms. And then I can't remember how it gets there. But we've got to talk about the dad.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously, they come out the next morning, the kids, and the mum and the dad are there as well, and they're just like, what the hell have you guys been doing? Like, the hole's got even deeper as well, because this guy's got out of it.
They're standing over the hole. The perspective from the camera is like looking up from the hole at the family. And the best bit, the dad, who we don't really know anything about yet, is just looking down and like, obviously they're like worried and stuff, but he's like, that's an impressive hole, son. Like, he's just like, and we were just like, we were just saying that, dude. Like, that's a fucking great hole.
And the best thing is then the mum sort of turns to him and he's just like, fill this in. And he's just like, I've got a bad wrist. He just holds up his, like, he's just like, he limps his wrist for the first time. And he's just like, I'm too injured to do that.
We know nothing about this guy. And he's just like, nah.
He is hands down the best character in this film.
Such a great character. To be honest, I don't really remember much about the kids. I remember everything about the dad.
The little girl is an absolute nightmare of a human being. Yeah. She's terrible.
Yeah.
But then the kids sort of see these footprints walking away from the hole, so they follow it and then find the like warehouse.
The horror scene.
Yeah, where Psycho Goreman is with the guy with the constantly rolling back eyes.
Yeah.
And they're just like, what the hell's going on here? And he's just like, I will bathe in your blood. And then that like just stops when he gets up to them, when he sees the little girls holding the like pink stone thing. And she's just like, you looking for this? And then she realizes that she can control him with it.
Makes
and
him do the usual like stand on one leg and stuff like that.
Jog on the spot.
Yeah,
all this.
And all the while, I mean, it's kind of the running gag is whilst he's doing this stupid shit, Psycho Goreman's just like, I will, like you say, bathe in your blood. I will roast you in the fires of hell. As he's like putting on like a cowboy outfit to like play with her and stuff. So that's kind of like the running gag. But back to the dad, because there's the most amazing scene when they're like playing the Psycho Goreman and the kids are playing in the garage, and something goes wrong and like flies off with like ridiculous supernatural speed and goes through the wall where the dad is sitting watching TV and like pings around, ricocheting around the room, smashes the TV, and then just like flies off through the window or something. Just like wrecks the room whilst the dad's watching it. And like, okay, fine, normal. And in a normal movie, you'd just see the dad like screaming and like, oh no, and like the scene would end. But this like lingers, like he does the initial screaming like, what the fuck is going on? And it just lingers on him like sobbing in his armchair. Just like it stays for so long. He's just so confused and scared. It goes on for ages. It's so good.
Oh yeah,
so
and
good.
And the kids bring a friend over to meet like Psycho Goreman in the warehouse, and I can't remember like because she controls him, but I don't think she has to like specifically tell Psycho Goreman like not to kill her brother or something like that. So he just turns their random mate into this giant brain monster with these big googly eyes on it and these like tentacles.
Doesn't she say like make him shut up or something? Like he's being like sarky, and she's like make Lucas shut up, and he just like he turns him into like Lewis said, a giant fucking brain with two like fucking party shop googly eyes on its front, and weird tentacles, and I guess he shut up. He doesn't talk anymore for the rest of the fucking movie.
No, and what is great is because this guy, even though he's hilarious and is in a bunch of scenes, just sort of there, just like skulking along,
doing nothing.
But the very, very last scene of the movie is him going back to his parents' house and having dinner. Yeah. And they're just sort of sat at either end of the table. He's in the middle of it. And nothing's mentioned. It's just like played off like they're just sitting there just having dinner. And it's just like, it's just not a thing that their kid has turned into this brain
after
creature.
All of the like plots are resolved and like the families come closer and all that kind of thing. They've just left this kid as a fucking brain monster. I mean, a big brain monster too. Like he's like what, the size of
he's like about 4 foot across.
Yeah, like an armchair sized brain.
He's like a 4 foot like ball. Yeah,
so they just leave him. What other brilliant scenes are there?
So there's the policeman. So that obviously the police get involved with this at some point because there's this little creature doing this girl's. Well, not the little creature. There's this demonic evil entity doing the bidding of this small girl, and some police come up, and he turns one of the policemen into this like zombie brainless thing, which like. It has so many funny little moments in it.
I just remembered one. But carry on.
Yeah. And then he sort of like follows them along. He won't kill it, and it's trying to kill itself, and it wants to die. Like it knows enough that it wants to die, but it can't kill itself. And then as the story progresses, he like calls his buddies in, the people that he ruled, in to aid him. But when they arrive, not
the policeman.
No. When the Psycho Goreman calls in, like his allies to assist him and to kill the children, they're just like, actually, we're going to kill you because we were happy with you being locked up.
Yeah.
So they start attacking him, and then you just see like the zombie policeman like running up and kicking him.
Yeah, they managed to get him to the floor, and they're doing like the schoolyard, all ganging around, just kicking him on the floor. And they don't make like a big deal of it, but like in just one of the little cuts of them all kicking the shit out of him, the zombie is just there like, ooh, just kicking the shit out of him as well.
It's so good.
It's brilliant.
So good.
It's so brilliant.
Yeah. And then, like, there's the people that captured Psycho Goreman, and like he kills all of his friends once the little girl like lets him, but he wasn't behaving in her eyes, so she won't let him attack them and defend himself. But once they get over that, and he destroys all of them, then you're there with the people that actually imprisoned him, and I completely forgot this until I was watching a recap earlier on. But the woman, the female, like, almost like Power Ranger, like creature, like Gundam Wing Power Ranger sort of crossover. She turns the mum into like one of her.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Weird shit. I mean, at the end of the day, the plot is negligible. Who gives a fuck?
Madness.
But like,
then, do you remember the bit though when the two kids and the dad, because he picks them up with Psycho Goreman, brings them back to the house, and the mum's there with the like. The creature that imprisoned Psycho Goreman. Mm-hmm. Let's call her Beth, just for the moment, so I don't have to keep referring to her as that.
Sure.
And the little boy, her brother, gets out and is just like, no, you're being mean. I don't like you anymore. You're being a bully. And then the Beth is there just being like, oh, yeah, you need to hand him over to me. Like, I'm going to re-imprison him and all this. And the dad just turns to the little girl. And in the worst judgment call that a father can make is just like, nah, let's go save him. Like, he just drives off with the little girl and Psycho Goreman back to the warehouse, like, tries to save him.
I just, if you listeners are going to watch this movie,
please watch this movie.
It's all for the dad. The dad is just, or whoever's directing it, just fucking loved the dad and just kept focusing on him and letting him have like ridiculous. There's another bit. I think we kind of need to wrap this one up, but there's this one more bit. I just remember the snippet of it. It's kind of early in the movie where the mum is basically like, you don't have a job, to the dad, like, why don't you get out there and do something? And he's like, I'm sorry, all right? And then it just like zooms in really close on his face, and he just goes, I'm sorry. Like whispers it. It's so weird. Like no one would have heard. It's so odd. Anyway, like a solid 10 out of 10. Like jokes ass movie for me.
The dad is a 10 out of 10. The movie itself, I would give a 7 out of 10 because it is endlessly entertaining and funny. But could you genuinely sit there and watch it again on your own?
I guess it depends on your perspective or your scale. But I'll put it like this: if you want a jokes-ass movie to watch with your mates and know that it's not going to be like Inglourious Bastards or something incredible,
you can tune in and out.
Then it's a 10 out of 10 because it's just it's so good.
I will give you that.
So ridiculous and over the top. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I believe last week we had a rating that we had it was like either this or this, like good or bad. I can't remember what the benchmark was.
Well, it's good then.
Yeah, I would absolutely give you good. Okay, then there's our rating scale. Is it good or bad?
Is it floppy or sloppy?
Floppy or sloppy?
No, I don't know which one's the good one, but it's one of them.
I mean, would you rather have a floppy night or a sloppy night?
I think I'm going to go with sloppy.
Excellent.
Anyway.
Sloppy it is.
Nothing but sloppy stuff.
Okay. Yeah, great film. Dad, best character. Hands down.
Wonderful movie. Okay, so I think time to move on to the last segment. It's probably going to go longer than we think. So shall I introduce it as you're going to be GMing this one? So this one is this segment is RPG stuff, and basically what we're going to do is play just like a really short 10-15 minute scenario. We've got a fantasy world and a sci-fi world, and we're going to take turns kind of game mastering it. So I'm game mastering the sci-fi one, where last week we had Leslie. Was it Giebelgorp? What was it? Giebelgorp, and his wooden prawn-shaped spaceship, as he was.
I can't remember it being wooden. But
it was wood.
Yeah, a smuggler of luxurious items like chocolate and toilet paper.
And he was accosted by customs agents, essentially, as he was trying to go through a Stargate or whatever we called it. I think he failed almost every role.
Yes, he
and
did.
ended up being arrested. So in terms of the rolling side of things, we're just using the very simple system based on Powered by the Apocalypse. But it's you roll 2d6, so 2 6-sided dice.
Regular dice.
Yeah, regular dice. Between a 1 and 6, it's a failure. Between a 7 and 9 is a mixed success, so you do what you want to do, but something goes wrong. And a 10 or above is a full success. So for this one, Lewis is GMing, game mastering, and I will be playing. So, Lewis, do you want to kind of set us up, set the scene? What are we doing?
Well, first of all, should we not find out a little bit about your character?
I think I want to introduce him as he's doing something in your scene, unless you think that doesn't work for what you've kind of prepared.
From this one, I think a little background, just a little, who is your character?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, what describe him for us.
So I will be playing, I haven't quite decided on a voice, but I think I'll get there on the day.
Plenty of time to practice.
Is Gary, the middle-aged warlock. I think you see him generally in a ratty brown robe, the smell of cheese and sulphur following him around.
Jeez.
He's, I think, quite a nervous person, quite unsure of himself, not very confident at all. But obviously he has a pact with some kind of archdemon, so that does help him in some certain situations. He's got a bit of a tummy sticking out. The hair has all but receded at this point, and generally goes about his business as a middle-aged man.
Fair enough.
A bit like me.
Hair. Never mind. Isaac's bald.
Bald jokes for people that can't see me. That's good. That's really good. Good radio.
Yeah, well... we've got the faces made for radio, baby. Mm-hmm. But never mind. So this week, Gary, he's sitting at home, funnily enough. It's been a long day down to mill, or wherever he works.
But a warlock working in a mill, sure. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, why not? People have got to make flour.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting there. Semi-retired, sure. He's sitting there, having a nice flagon of grog or mead. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, bursting through his front door, comes an adventuring party.
A whole party?
A whole party.
Okay.
Supported by a teenage, scared-looking halfling wizard and a fat female dwarf bard. I mean, doing their best to support him. Mm-hmm. A giant Goliath barbarian.
Okay.
Big. There's the arrow sticking out of him. There's a sword stuck in him.
Okay.
Followed quickly by a little gnome paladin and a female warlock.
A whole crew.
Oh, there's 5 of them.
Okay.
They bust in the door. They slam it shut behind them, and they look over at you, and they're like, "Quickly, tell us where you've got any medical supplies. We need them very quickly." And that comes from let's say the what?
The dwarf bard.
The dwarf bard. Why not?
You went
quickly.
Scottish.
Yeah, let's go for that. She is female, so but there's that nice lilt to her voice there. Quickly.
All right.
And what do? You're sitting in your chair. You look up. This happens. Doors slam behind them.
Okay, I slam my newspaper down, and I stand up and I'm like, "Shush! Please shush! The children are asleep. It's nap time. Are you crazy?"
You cannot be trusting me with it right to be quiet. There's a little bit of a commotion going on here.
I said keep it down. I run over to the curtains. Can I peek out? Is there anyone chasing?
So you peek out, and it takes a few seconds, but you do see people sort of looking around the street. But there is, as you can see down, as you're really looking for it, a not too hard to miss blood trail leading up to your door.
Okay, so I can't see the baddies, but I can see that obviously.
You can immediately as you look out, you're looking around. You can see the blood trail, and then you can see them coming around the corner onto your street, and you see some guards looking around, and they are the town guards of your town.
The town guard. Okay. So the officials. How does Gary feel about the officials? Okay, I got it. All right, you've got yourselves in trouble. I understand that. I've been in a fair bit of trouble myself in my youth. Please, accompany me to the basement. I'll keep you all safe.
Right, we'll follow you down.
You gotta make sure the listener can understand what the fuck you're saying, because I know
right.
I can.
Right, we will follow you down.
I don't mind the Scottish, but it's like...
Right!
So they're going downstairs?
So what's going to happen then is the Goliath Barbarian will be taken down by the Halfling Wizard, the female Dwarven Bard, and the Gnome Paladin, but the Human Warlock female, Warlock kin of your... Not Warlock of the same class. Will stay upstairs, and she'll turn to you and you'll be like, well, I'm just going to make sure that no one comes in and gets the jump on us.
Oh, sultry.
Oh.
Madame, please.
Madame.
What's the point of hiding you if you're going to stay upstairs? I must insist that you come downstairs. That we've got refreshments down there. I like to call it my manhole. If you'd like to enter my manhole, we should be safe. The guards, they've come here before. They've never caught me inside my manhole.
That's going to take a persuasion check.
To get
inviting her into your manhole.
That's a 5. That's a failure.
Okay, so she's going to look at you and be like, I'd rather stay up here and make sure that I can give my companions the jump on the old gun. What's a gun, by the way?
All right. I guess if you insist, but please just do keep the noise down. And if the guards do come in, do not get any blood on my tablecloth. It's unwipeable. I know with children, terrible idea, but that's how it is. All right, you stay safe. We will definitely 100% be right back.
Okay, so she, before you go, are you heading downstairs?
I am, yes.
Okay, so she quickly, throws off her pack behind the chair, grabs a broom and an apron that obviously belongs to Gary, and just starts sweeping. Just in case they open the door, just to look natural, just starts to
So
sweep.
she's the only one up there?
She's the only one that stays upstairs.
Okay, so all the other 4 have gone downstairs.
The other 4 are downstairs, and going down the stairs, you get there, and the Goliath Barbarian's on the floor. Let's say the wizard is there, and the gnome paladin. They're pulling out arrows, and the paladin's trying to lay on hands and trying to cover up, heal up the wounds and all this. But he is shouting.
Okay. I come downstairs. I say, oh, it looks like you made yourselves comfortable. I'm afraid there has been a little bit of a misunderstanding. You thought that I was going to help you and give you medical supplies. It looks like you've kind of taken care of that already. But look, I'm actually behind on my quota, and the fact that you guys have come by today could not have been better timing. I'm really, really sorry about this. And I click my fingers and summon my toupee into my hands and just place it on top of my head. And with the other hand, click my fingers again, revealing the infernal spell circle that they've all walked into, which is in my basement.
Nice.
Which just burns away whatever dust and carpet is there, just kind of encasing them in fire. It's harmless. It just looks. It's all about show. And I'm like, yes, I'm afraid I'm so sorry, but I'm actually short by about 4 souls for Asmodeus today, and it's just the perfect timing. So please do keep the noise down. But you are about to be incinerated, and it has been a pleasure.
Oh well, they're not going to be taken too lightly to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the barb at this point is the Goliath Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost a lot of blood. He is being healed, but he can finally relax. And he sort of, before you came down, just passed out a bit.
Okay.
The Halfling Wizard, though, is turning around and immediately, on hearing this, is trying to cast blindness on you. This is sort of for background on this section as well. This is a light D&D sort of area. Those are the sort of spells and rules that we'll be going off of.
It's pretty obvious what blindness does, huh? Don't you think?
It makes it cuts off a leg.
We'll try not to be too specific in what things do. I'll try not to explain them. But
sure.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you.
But he tries to blind you.
Okay.
And
can I make like a kind of resisting roll?
Well, let's see whether your sort of encasement, your magical encasement, is strong enough. Yes, to block it.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Like the measure of my power. I'm afraid that's another failure.
That's another failure.
Yes.
So before the encasement manages to go around them, you are blinded by the spell there. But as the encasement goes around them, as I'm sure you explain exactly what's happening with this. Does this immediately incinerate them once it's full? Is it like a furnace in there?
I was toying with them a little bit. I think the magic's kind of powering up. So first it's going to encapsulate them, and second, just kind of like you can feel the heat building up before their souls get taken to hell.
Heat, baby.
So yeah, I think there's a bit of time that the spell, the blindness has got through. I'm stumbling around like, oh, for God's sake! I mean, this is just ridiculous. Look, it was going to be so easy and painless. I need vision. PT. And I summon my familiar from the depths of hell to assist me. This is someone that you named. Do you remember the name? Because it was quite a tongue twister, but I'm stuck with it now.
No, I don't.
PT Chin Swimper, and he is
PT. I thought you meant capital P, capital T, but no, PT. As in Peter.
PT Chim Swimper, and he is an imp. So he's like a gargoyle, kind of little smaller than a gargoyle, a little winged devil creature. He comes out and he immediately kind of just like sits on my shoulders, and he's like, Master! Oh, vision you need, okay! And he's just like on top of me, maybe like putting both hands either side of my face and like guiding me around a bit like Ratatouille, just like moving around in this cellar. And what are these guys doing in the meantime as the heat is building? Give them a chance to do something.
Okay, so the wizard has just done his little thing there. The gnome paladin is just going to simply try and use like a smite on it. Just use some sort of magical power to break down.
Bludgeoning.
See if he can break the barrier. But that's going to prove too weak. I mean, a magical barrier, that's going to be too strong. The barb's out of commission. So it's the female bard. Now, let's say sound can escape.
Yeah, sure.
The sound can escape your thing. She's going to try and lull you. She's going to try and entice you to change your mind on this.
Okay.
So you're going to have to try and resist it when she pulls out her let's say her flute and starts playing a little tune on it. Do you manage to resist?
Another fucking 6, so no.
She basically I think the most pressing matter, she hasn't got a lot of time, so seeing this force field go over you, she thinks, we're going to, and with what you just said, she's going to be like, okay, we're going to be incinerated here. So her immediate thing is not to get out, but for you to not incinerate them.
Okay. Yeah, so I haven't done the second phase of this spell yet.
They are still trapped within.
But what's happened to me? Am I asleep, or am I...
You've been enticed to not kill them. You've captured them, but you are not, at this point, going to destroy them.
PT, I believe I've had a change of heart. Perhaps these souls are not the ones we need today. And PT's just like, What the hell are you talking about? It's soul time. You know, the quarter's coming in. We've got the graph and it's going down. We need the graph to go up. And I'm just like, no. I think today maybe we'll just keep them. We'll keep them, Petey. We'll keep them down here as friends. Remember friends, Petey. We haven't had friends in so long. Okay, well, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm also not letting you out. Bye-bye. And I'm going to just ascend the stairs and leave them down there.
Okay, so you're walking up your little staircase there. You sort of get to the top. You open the door, and you see there a scene as the warlock, yes, the human warlock female, is standing there sweeping, as bang! The door gets barged open by the guards, following the bloodstains up to your door.
Would people please stop slamming doors and shouting? It's quite disturbing. And like I said, my children are sleeping upstairs.
Turning around with a quizzical eye, having heard some of the commotion going on downstairs. That's where we'll leave this little session, I think, for this week.
Okay. In the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oof.
Tension.
I'm intrigued.
Tension. You leave the people wanting more.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited to see. I had a little plan ready, but the plan can come in next week.
Yeah, so that's where we'll leave it. You know, leave the people wanting more after that little session.
To be honest, I want more. I had a little plan of what I was going to do up there, but hopefully I'll remember it for next week.
Well, no, week after next. Next week will be the return of Leslie. The return of Leslie.
I think that went pretty well. A bit of improvisation, you know.
I mean, that's the name of the game, baby.
Wonderful. Okay. So yeah, I think it's. Is there any more room for any more butt stuff?
I could fit in a little bit more butt stuff.
Is there any more butt stuff that we could squeeze in? I think we're coming up to the time limit, so maybe we'll save our butt stuff for next stuff.
Okay. But as always, before we finish the session, as always, as last time, and what we're going to try and do always. So this week, we had the fun of discussing through the wonderful film Psycho Goreman. Next week is, which was your choice. That was a Harwood special. Next week,
the share special.
We're going to be talking. Yes, next episode we're going to be talking through a film which I've chosen. And I'm going for something a little bit different. I'm going for what would be perceived, I believe, as a modern classic, as a trend setter, and as a genre redefiner.
Hey, do you want to be a little less pretentious about it?
Never. So next week we will be, or next episode. Who knows when we'll be recording this? But next episode, we will be discussing the one and only, the most fantastic of films, 1989's Michael Keaton's Batman.
The original, that's the Joker one, and with Jack Nicholson. Yeah. Okay, cool. Everyone's probably seen it, but they haven't heard us talk about it, Lewis. That's the thing.
Exactly.
They haven't heard us talk about it.
Exactly. And with there being so many Batmen these days, we've got the Michael Keatons.
Yeah.
We've got the which one followed him?
You want to dive into all the Batmen right now?
Well, we've got your Michael Keatons. We've got your Georges Clooney. We've got your Val Kilmars.
To be honest, I quite like the George Clooney ones. Like, I mean, it's my childhood, right?
One. You did
one.
Yeah,
okay. Is it just the Robin one with Venom? Venom? Fucking Poison Ivy.
Yes, and Arnie as Dr. Freeze.
Okay, well, that's not the one we're watching anyway, so who cares?
We've got your Robert Battenbat, as is known on the Robert Battenbat, as known on the fantastic other podcast, which is much better than ours, The Weekly Planet.
So you're doing shout-outs now?
Yeah, to much more successful things.
Trying to emulate. Gotcha.
We've got your Ben Affleck's, but no, we'll be starting with Michael Keaton's great take on the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Batman.
Wonderful.
And that's what we'll be watching next week.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I've been Isaac Harwood. You've been Bono. I think that's probably time to wrap. Yeah.
Yep. So remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends. Obviously, by the time this comes out, you're probably the only listener, whoever you are.
Thanks, guy or girl. That's just brilliant. Oh, and don't forget to email us at nothingbutstuff@gmail.com. Yeah, I mean, it could be about anything. I don't care. Just send me an email. We haven't got one yet, so it'd be really nice. I don't care what you say. No dick pics.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're definitely going to get a dick pic. Fuck.
But that's from me.
It's just where we interchange dick pics. It's just me and you. The mystery isn't there anymore. All right.
Beautiful.
All right.
Well, thanks very much for listening, everyone. And see you next time in episode 3.
Good night.
Two T's in the butt.
Perfect. Pitch perfect.
You're welcome, everyone.
Welcome to our little public service announcement. Turns out you should probably make the social media stuff before you start a podcast. So we're just going to chuck this in at the end.
No, this feels natural this way.
This feels, yeah. You're going to hear this a couple more times. We did all the review email stuff. It's just going to add on the Instagram and Twitter. Come and follow us. Come and chat to Lewis and Isaac themselves. And listen to just droning and quiet times.
With 2 T's in your butt.
It's at NB Stuff Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. Thank you.
Cheers.
This is The Quiet Time with Isaac Harwood. Please step into my boudoir as we recount the tales of Isaac's love life. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.